are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining our webinar on ePMP solutions. Today is going to be a little bit different than what you're probably used to. With me on the line I have the VP of ePMP sales as well as one of our top engineers for the ePMP line, and they're going to be taking really as many questions as you want. You could think of this as a Q&A session, and we'll try and sprinkle in little bits of info as we see necessary. So with that being said, here is Sakit and Dimitri.
Okay, thanks, Colin. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We were just looking through the attendee list. Looks like we have a variety of people joining today. As Colin suggested, we are looking to do this webinar a little differently and open it up to Q&A for folks to ask questions. But before we get into an open Q&A, which you can start by typing questions in the webinar, we do want to touch on one topic, couple of topics. Since the webinar is titled ePMP Solutions, we wanted to provide a high-level update of what we're doing with ePMP today as in the near future, and what's happening. So first and foremost, let's talk about hardware. From a platform perspective, as you are aware, ePMP today, on the base station side, we're leading with the ePMP 2000 filtering, beam steering as an access point. On the subscriber side, we have the Force 180 and then the Force 200. We have shown roadmaps in the past about a product called the Force 190. This is a 22 dBi dish, and it's meant to sit between the 180 and the 200. This product is right now in its final stages. We have not announced it publicly. It is still in our hands, and we're doing selective trials and tests in the field with that product. It's meant to be a subscriber module, but it can also be used as point-to-point. And the most significant thing about the Force 190 is that it's a dish that comes in collapsible pieces. So there's a little assembly required, but on the flip side, it allows you to save money on shipping and things like that. And it also gives you better gain than the Force 180, but smaller size and weight as compared to the Force 200. So that's the most important hardware item that we are looking at.
In the near future.
In the near future, right. And obviously, we're still working on many things around 11AC, and I'll answer questions if there's questions on that topic. But we are also in the midst of working on some point-to-point solutions with 11AC Wave 2, as well as a point-to-multipoint MUMIMO 11AC access point. On the software front, we just had released 3.3 out, Dimitri?
3.3 is out, and 3.4 is in public beta with support of 2.4 gigahertz Elevate. So if you have any M2 units from third party, you can try the Elevate firmware on them.
I see. So the most significant thing in 3.4 is support of Elevate in 2 gigahertz, which is a 2.4 gigahertz, which is a very North America-centric application, mostly.
Well, it is not only North America. In many parts of the world, 2.4 is quite popular.
Okay. And 2.4, can we talk a little bit more about the other features in 2.4 or bug fixes that you are aware of?
There are multiple defects fixed around the Elevate, especially supporting the older XM hardware from third party.
I see.
It is working better right now with 3.4. So if you had any issues, and we know that we used to have some, especially performance issues of XM hardware when we just started. Right now, we
So a refresher on that is those that are not familiar. ePMP has the ePMP Elevate launch that happened, where we support the upgrade of third-party subscribers and allow them to be virtual ePMP subscribers and connect to our ePMP access points. Two models that we supported was the XM and XW, and XM being an older hardware model. We had some slow GUI type performance issues, which we have optimized even more with the 3.4 release. So
yeah, the GUI is still slow, but right now it's acceptable to use.
I see. And one of the most important things about the XM is that when you're upgrading, let's say in a desktop environment and it's constantly scanning, the act of scanning is eating up a lot of the horsepower. Once it registers, the accessibility becomes much smoother.
That's correct.
Okay. And 3.4 release is essentially the focus right now. Beyond that, as we move towards a 3.5 release, what are we looking at, Dimitri? Mostly the embedded spectrum analyzer, potentially. This has been a topic from our customers for a while, that the spectrum analyzer is a little tough to use because it's Java-based and opens a new window and things like that. So we are looking at solving that problem with an embedded spectrum analyzer. And that is going to be the highlight for 3.5. As we move ahead for the rest of the year, fundamentally you'll see software releases that are probably addressing major defects.
Don't forget about the easier licensing stuff.
That's a very important one. Okay, so let me come back to that. But more or less the rest of the year we're looking at software releases where we address software defects and things like that. But fundamentally our efforts on the ePMP solution side is going to be more about software that supports our 11AC platforms, specifically the point-to-point platforms that we're looking to bring out. What Dimitri mentioned on Elevate is that today when you purchase an Elevate license, it is tied to the MAC address of the access point, and all control is residing with the access point. With the 3.5 release, we are going to come back and offer a floating license option, which means you are able to connect to the cloud at the license server, and as a customer, you will have X number of licenses that you have purchased, and the base station or access point will automatically check out licenses that it needs, so that you're not specifically tied to a particular MAC address. This has been a highly requested feature to migrate faster on Elevate, and we're hoping to bring this solution out into the marketplace with the 3.5 release.
Do you want to go through the current process of licensing?
Sure, yeah, we're still waiting to see if there's any questions, but since we're sharing the screen, Dimitri can kind of walk through how to do an Elevate license fulfillment. What it starts with is before you even get to Cambium website or anything, you would be talking to your distributors and asking them to help you purchase Elevate license. Your distributor will place the order on your behalf to Cambium, and today the licenses are sold as a single license or a 10-pack license. And the way to think about this is on the 10-pack, it is allowing the access point to connect up to 10 subscribers of the third-party variant. Please know that the single license is really no longer making sense, because in our software today, even in 3.3, we allow one subscriber to connect to the base station by default. So if anybody is ever looking to try out Elevate, you're able to do that with the current software and one subscriber.
Right, and it's very handy to do it in the lab.
In the lab as you're trying.
If you want to test something, test configuration scenarios or something like this, it's very easy. You don't need a license.
Right. So as your distributor places the order, what they receive is something called the entitlement. Entitlement is exactly what it is. It represents what you are entitled to as part of your purchase. When that entitlement comes to the distributor, they will forward that to you as the end customer. and that entitlement is what you use to go to the support.cambiumnetworks.com. Are you sharing your screen? I think you are. So Dimitri is now on the support site. He's going to go to the license key section. And I'm assuming Dimitri already has an entitlement.
That's correct. And just to note, entitlement is a long string of letters. So it's just a license, kind of a license key.
Okay. So let's show what you have. Walk through the process.
Yeah. So you can see I have one entitlement ID.
Okay.
Which looks like a random number of letters and numbers. So it is already activated. If you got the brand new entitlement, I go to the activate entitlements.
Actually, what you can do is you can go back to my entitlement and copy that entitlement ID again. Hit edit, I think, or you got it right there. So this assumes you just got the entitlement. You copy and paste it, and you hit check. And then it says what that entitlement entitles you to. So now it's showing you that Dimitri's entitlement allows him to do a AP Lite to a full upgrade. He's got 20 chances to do that. That's what he purchased. Mm-hmm. Well, in this case, Dimitri didn't purchase anything, but then he has a GPS Sync AP license key, again, upgrading from Lite to full, 20 of 20. He has one subscriber where he has used 8 of them already, 42 of 50. And then the 10 subscriber pack, he's used 52 because he's got 98 left out of 150. So this essentially tells you where are you with your entitlement status. Okay, so with that, Dimitri, let's say you wanted to activate the 10 subscriber. What would you do next?
Okay, so from customer perspective, mm-hmm. I bet none of our customers wants to activate the entitlement because they don't know what it means. Right. They want to get their subscribers connected to the access point.
Right.
So let's think about this scenario. They have 42 subscribers, mm-hmm. and they want to get 42 subscriber license on the AP.
Okay.
So what they have to do, they have to purchase those part numbers, mm-hmm. inside the entitlement. They got the entitlement from the distributor. Mm-hmm. And right now they have those in their possession. Mm-hmm. So what they can do right now, press the activate button on the right. So I can activate those entitlement, those part numbers inside the entitlement.
Okay, so you would activate.
Here we go. And you can see that I can put the number of quantity of part numbers I want to activate. Because we started with the use case that we want to get 42 subscribers connected, I'm activating 4 of those part numbers.
So then that gives you 40.
Yes, that gives me 40. And now I'm putting here the certain MAC address of the access point. It should be Ethernet MAC address, not wireless MAC address. If you're from Europe, you mm-hmm. have to choose proper country code mm-hmm. Of your domain and agree with the terms and conditions, mm-hmm. and then press the request key button.
I see. How do you get to 42, from 40 to 42?
Okay, let me show you. We can, I think, for purpose of this webinar, generate the key for this random MAC address.
Probably give you an error message.
No, it will not, because it's a valid. Actually, it is. Well, okay. Yes. You see that this one worked.
Okay.
So I generated for 40. Right now I want to get the 42.
Right.
I go to my entitlements. press the activate button, and I want to activate two of this part number, which is called one subscriber license. So I go here, put the same MAC address here, and activate two licenses. And our system, it already knows that you activated 40 for this MAC address.
I see.
So it will add up 2 on top of those 40.
I see.
So when I press request key, it will generate the new
key which represents 42.
That's correct.
Okay, great. So now that you have the license key, what would you do?
Now I have a license key. All I have to do is to copy, cut and paste this key.
Control C.
Yes. Go to one of the access points. I probably can't access it.
Okay, because you're on the Wi-Fi network here at the work. Okay.
But I go to the access point, go to the tools, license management, and paste this license key, save configuration, and that's it.
Okay. And then save configuration and reboot, and now the AP will allow 42 third-party devices to connect to it. That's essentially the license key procedure. And the same thing applies to, let's say, if you want to go from a light AP to a full AP. Light AP being something that limits only 10 subscribers to connect, a full AP being 120 subscribers to connect. Okay, so thank you. I think that's a good quick overview of how the licensing works, because that does come up as a topic. Do we have any questions from our audience?
We don't have any questions so far.
Yeah, no questions yet. You guys must be very clear and precise.
Colin, what about you? What questions do you have as a host of the webinar?
You know, this Elevate license, I know I've heard a lot about the elevator script, but you know, I'm not entirely sure about what that is. Can you shed some light on that?
Sure, happy to do so. Dimitri, all yours.
Okay, so the elevator script. This is the script that helps you to pre-configure third-party device before elevating it. What it means. So, for example, you are running network and you want to elevate it. You probably have your own SSIDs, IP addresses, VLANs, and stuff like this. And after update, by default, after updating to Elevate firmware, device will come up with the default configuration. So if we want device to come up with our specific configuration, we can use this elevator script. The best source of knowledge is our community page. Let me show you. So go to the forums, community.cambiumnetworks.com, then go to ePMP Elevate, and at the top of the page you can see the elevator tool to pre-configure before you elevate. There is some very short instructions on how you can install it on Linux and Mac. If you are a Windows user, there is a version with a simple graphic interface. You can download it using the link here. And in case you need any guidance how to craft your own template, which is called SMJSON, there is a really nice post in our knowledge base which explains step by step how you can do this. So we provide you with all information you need. Probably I don't want to repeat it right now, all the steps we have written in the knowledge base. But if you want to see it live, how we did the how elevator script works, I recommend you to go to our YouTube channel or Facebook page. We have the live show called ePMP Now. And we have also ePMP Now in our community page. If you go to forums and subsection called ePMP Now, you can find all the recordings of our live show ePMP Now, and one of the topics for ePMP Now was this elevator script, and I showed step by step how you can do the elevation of your network.
Great, thank you.
Colin, does that help? Okay.
Yeah. What were you saying, Sakid?
No, I said, does that answer your question?
Oh yeah, no, it definitely does. And just as I guess a little teaser, what is the topic for tomorrow's session of ePMP Now?
Great question.
For tomorrow's ePMP Now, we have a topic, different modes of operation. And I know that different modes of operation can be tricky because we have so many of them. We have ePTP, we have TDD, we have Wi-Fi mode.
Flexible mode.
We have different modes of the TDD operation with a fixed frame size, with the flexible frames. We have the TDD point-to-point version. So to answer all the topics around different modes of operation, we have tomorrow's ePMP Now session.
Great. And for those of you who haven't seen it yet, we try to make it fun and goofy, and so it's definitely a good time to watch, and it's live, so it's definitely fun. So that's 10 a.m. tomorrow Central Standard Time.
And it's streamed live on Facebook and YouTube. And I think we are hosting now on the community, so you're able to ask questions on our community forum.
That's right.
All right, let's keep going, Colin.
Yep. Did you have more stuff to talk about?
No, we're right at about half an hour close to. I was hoping to see some questions.
Oh, we did get one more.
One more. Claudia Rodriguez has a question.
That's right.
CN Maestro alerts. Okay. Let's see what the question is. Email alerts. Okay, so that's a good question. Does CN Maestro support email alerts? Not today.
Not today, but I think it was.
It's in the road
to the list.
Yeah, it's definitely on the roadmap, and if I'm not mistaken, it's very close. I had the same question earlier, and it's very close. The question I think has to do with that if there is a critical alarm or your thresholds have, you have a predefined threshold and the system is violating that threshold somehow, that CN Maestro send an email alert. So yes, that support is coming very shortly.
Great. And while we're waiting for any last minute questions, I'll just go ahead and give my closing spiel here. So thank you for joining us.
Another question came up. Great. We got a commentary about ePMP Now, that it's a great session, and people enjoy it.
Good. I was just about to say, definitely check us out on YouTube and Facebook, where it's very easy to learn a lot, and we stream the ePMP Now. As we mentioned, we stream it to our community now as well, and regardless of streaming services, there's a lot to learn from our community, and you could always expect an official response from us within a day if someone else from the community doesn't even get to it first, because it's very active. So with that being said, do you
hang on, Colin. I'd like to open up something else interesting enough. So people, we get a compliment from Claudia on the ePMP Now. I'm actually willing and very interested in inviting our customers to the ePMP Now session. So if the audience at today's webinar, you yourself are interested, maybe in your language, wherever you are, and want to talk about a particular topic, we welcome that. We can do a video, remote video, we can have you dial in, and I'm very confident that all of our customers love hearing from other customers at the same time as liking to hear from Cameo. So that's an open invitation to join our ePMP session. Colin, we also have another question that just came in about specific comparison charts between the ePMP 1000 versus 2000. It's a good question. The short answer is the best way to compare them is just download the spec sheets, because that will tell you how they differ. But for the purposes of this, I'll give you this answer that from a throughput, RSSI, SNR perspective, the best way to think about this is that the ePMP 2000 and the 1000 fundamentally have the same software running on them. Hardware-wise, they are different. In terms of transmit power, in terms of receive sensitivity, those are same. So on all conditions, they could be perfectly similar as the 1000. But there's a big caveat. The caveat is that 2000 brings beam steering in the uplink and the filtering. So the combination of those two things, what that does is it helps you with your interference situation. So in the exact same distance at 1000, you may see much higher throughput and better performance out of a 2000 as compared to the 1000 because of the additional benefits of beam steering and filtering.
Depending on your interference.
Depending on interference. And the reason we can't come out and publish a number saying, oh, 2000 is better than 1000 in this case is because it's a dynamic environment. If there's interference, 2000 will do better. So, but the reality is in many, many deployments, interference is very common. And so I encourage that that the investment, if you're going to make an investment in the access point, 2000 is the way to go.
And we had some numbers in the ePMP 2000 launch. So if you're interested in some numbers, we had some testing done with the examples how interference degrades performance without, for example, beam steering, and we showed it during the ePMP 2000 launch.
Right. And that I think is actually available in our...
Is it uplink only? Yes,
yes,
that's correct.
Beam steering is in the uplink only. Okay, the question was if the improvements by what percentage? Okay, we actually have case studies that actually, Dimitri, you could probably go to the Camium website and go to case studies, and this will be a good live test of how easy our website is to find.
So the decision to make it uplink only for beam steering, that was on purpose, right? Because that's actually where most of the noise is, and it's where you get the most benefit is in the uplink. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And while you do it on uplink, there's inherent benefit to downlink as well. So the one case study we're pulling up is WirroLink in South Africa, and you can take a look at it. Just hit submit. I think you're probably logged in already. So yes, to answer your question, Colin, we did it in uplink because, you know, a tower is shared with other equipment. Things are talking towards many things are talking towards the tower, and that creates more interference in the uplink. And keep in mind that when you benefit in the uplink, there's sometimes indirect benefits to downlink as well around TCP acknowledgements and things like that. High interference can cause TCP ACKs to slow down, retransmissions, all of that has an effect to the overall system throughput. But this is one of the many case studies, but this one will have some data here on the results side. You can feel free to read that. And there's others as well. that has case studies. Tennessee Wireless is one of them. This was actually in Brazil, and eVergent was one of our first ones.
And to clarify, Sakid, is the uplink, that's being in the direction from the AP or to the AP?
Uplink
is to the AP.
to the AP.
From subscriber to the AP.
Great.
Okay. Super. All right. We'll see you guys on ePMP Now tomorrow, because I think that's going to be a good learning exercise. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We'll continue the webinar series. We'll come up with some more topics. As always, feel free to post on our forum and tell us what topics you'd like to hear about.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks, Dimitri. Thanks, Sakid. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today and giving us your time. So everyone have a wonderful day.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.